So I didn't really know too much about evoking angels and what that magical system is like. So I actually went to Paris last November and went to the Arsenal Library, which is where France keeps all of their old occult manuscripts. And I got access to the library. You have to pass an interview in French, and got access to all these ancient books of angel magic. And as I was going through them, I thought to myself, these are unpublished works. So this is information that nobody has ever seen, ever. It's come through in some places, and if you read Robert Amlin and authors like that, you'll see some of that information, but it's watered down or it's sort of mistranslated, because a lot of the original stuff is in Latin. So I thought, this is something I need to share with you. So I actually put it into the tarot cards themselves. I've got an example of that here, and I'll talk more about this in a minute. So you've got the summoning sigil. That's sort of what the key element of evoking an angel is. And these summoning sigils have never been shown anywhere on planet Earth, ever. I am the first person, to my knowledge anyways, to actually figure out the right way to make these according to the Kabbalah and all these other ancient books of magic I discovered, and to actually publish them and make them available to the mass public. So my plan is actually, after this Kickstarter is finished, to make all these sigils, and here's a bigger version, to make all these sigils available in the public domain. Even though I put my hard work into this, the only part that came from the book is actually this thing right here, this what they would call the seal of the angel. All the other stuff is how you actually summon it. So I'm actually planning on making all 72 summoning sigils available in the public domain, so people can stop summoning demons with the publicly available sigils and start summoning angels. Okay, so that's who I am, little introduction. And by the way, if you have questions as we're going through, just feel free to shout them out. I've been public speaking for many, many years. I'm accustomed to it. So at this expo, while you're here, you're going to hear a lot of different theories about angels. You're going to see a lot of booths that have angelic presences and things like that. And everybody's got a different idea of what angels are. And that's because there are actually different sort of celestial entities, if you want to call them. Some are actual angelic beings. Some are what they would call planetary intelligences or celestial intelligences. And then you've got the lower life forms or spiritual forms, demons and geomantic spirits as well, which are earth-based spirits. So as we're going through this, remember, what I'm really talking about today are the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. And those are 72 angels whose names are derived from the Bible. There's a certain passage in Exodus, and when you read it a certain way in the original Hebrew, you can actually pull names out of that, 72 different names, which are considered 72 names of God, and you can convert them into angelic names. So these are these specific angelic spirits are the ones that I'm going to sort of teach you how to evoke and how to get some help from them. So all the magic involving those 72 angels comes really from one primary source. It is Agrippa's book, very, very old book, written in 1535, I think, or 1531. It is called On Philosophy of Magic, or Philosophy of the Occult. And so all the information comes all the way back from that book, and it's sort of been modified and changed over the years by different authors. And as I said, when I did my research, I went back to the original sources. So what I'm going to show you sort of comes from that, and beyond that from the original Kabbalah. So let's get into it. I've already answered this question a little bit. What are angels? So angels are sort of the highest form of spiritual being you can have. And angels, with the exception of maybe one, angels were never human. They were never alive on earth. So it's not like it's a human presence. Enoch, a lot of people think that Enoch, when he died or passed on, actually became the angel Metatron. So he's the one exception to that rule. But in general, angels have always been spiritual beings. They've never actually existed on earth in a physical form. And they are closest to the divine source. Now, I use that phrase very lightly, whatever you think that means. If you think it means the old Father God with the long beard, it can mean that. If you think it means a divine source of energy in the universe, it can mean that. Angels are the highest being that is closest to that divine source. So what that means for our purposes is they're very challenging to access. Now, you can talk to them. You can say, Angel, please do this. Hey, Angel, can I get some help with my finances? Can I get some help with my health? The problem is, because they are so high, they don't have to do what you tell them to. You can't make a bargain with an angel like you can with the lower forms, like a demon, for example. they don't always respond the way you want them to. Just like when you make a prayer to God or whatever divine being you believe in, that prayer doesn't have to be answered. You're working on his time, not your time. And angels are very much the same way. So that's what makes them the most challenging to deal with, and I'll show you the system for sort of getting through that. They're all summoned, all of these different beings, demons, angels, geomantic intelligences, and planetary intelligences, are essentially summoned using the same technique. And it's this thing right here. It's called a summoning sigil, so that's what this is. These ones are specifically for the 72 angels of the Kabbalah, but if you're not using a sigil to try to get these spirits, whatever they are, to come to you, you're probably not going to have the results that you want. It's almost like a calling card. That's the way you can think of it. It's like a business card with their phone number on it. And pick it up, and if you're calling a number that, so my example is this. I go up to somebody who works in Washington, D.C., and I say, I have something really important. I need to talk to the president about. I need some help, okay? I got a friend who's in prison. I need him to get a reprieve right away. So he gives me a card that has Donald Trump and a phone number. So I call the number, and the person who answers does this. Hello, this is Dick Nixon. Now, they gave me a card that had the phone number for a president on it, but it was not the president I was looking for. And that's exactly the way these sigils work. If you're using the wrong sigil, you're calling something. You're calling a celestial being or a demonic being or whatever it is. But if it doesn't look like what that angel's actual sigil is supposed to look like, you're not calling that angel. And that goes for anything. You just want to make sure that you're calling the right thing. So what appears to you or what's trying to help you is what you're looking for.
You can't just shout their name out?
Well, so that's absolutely another option. That's when I would consider that to be more of like when it's really urgent, it's really an emergency, and you're shouting out that whatever that divine name is. Absolutely. And actually, that's probably safer than using the wrong sigils to try to summon something. When you're evoking, it's a little bit more specific. It's like sending them almost a contract saying, hey, can you sign this for me? And we're going to agree that you're going to do this. So evoking is a more formalized practice than simply invoking or just sort of shouting out like that. So absolutely, you can do it that way. These angels, these particular 72, don't really respond to that. But the archangels actually do. They're much more responsive to just that sort of general, because they exist a little bit closer to humans than the other angels. So it's really important that you are using the correct sigils when you are trying to evoke the help of an angel. So I've already shown you these here twice. All the books that I've ever read about angels say you are supposed to trace their sigil on a piece of virgin parchment. Now this isn't virgin parchment, it's just regular parchment. It's been aged to look kind of cool. And what you got here is, so this is the angel's name in text, a font that's called Malachim writing. And this writing is very, very old. It dates back to at least the 1400s. And it's actually made by connecting points of the constellations, points of the stars, to figure out what language angels would be able to speak. So this is the angel's name in Malachim text, which is the text that they understand. This is the specific seal that the angel sort of responds to. It's almost like their phone number. And then around it is, this is the part that sort of keeps you safe and also inspires the angel to do something good. This is actually a verse of Psalms, and they all have a different verse of Psalms. Every angel has a different one they respond to. So it's actually a verse of Psalms in the original Latin that angel, like I said, sort of gets their motor running. It's the 20 you slip to the maitre d' to get into the restaurant. And so this is the exact way that the sigil is supposed to look. And like I said, I'll probably make these available free to humankind here in a few weeks. And you're supposed to draw this on a piece of virgin parchment. And then you can put it on the floor, in the center of a room, or you can put it on a table. If you have an altar, you can put it on the altar. And then you read out the invocation. Now I'll just read a couple lines of the invocation here. This is a book on angel magic I put together myself, based on all the stuff that I found. So again, I'll just read a couple lines. It's pretty long. It's 2 pages. I conjure thee in the name of the 24 elders, in the name of the 9 choirs to which you belong, O angel. I conjure thee in the name of angels, archangels, thrones, dominations, principalities, powers, virtues, cherubim, and seraphim. And then it goes on and on. I conjure thee in the name of Raphael, guardian of the south. I conjure thee in the name of Michael, guardian of the east. And it sort of ends with you saying, may thy sign be to me the symbol of protection which thou grantest to this divine ritual. I implore thee, O celestial angel, descend, O spirit of light, to show thy agreement and thine aid. So there's a lot of asking them for help. When you're summoning demonic spirits or the lower spirits, you're sort of telling them and actually threatening them. There's a whole lot of different invocations to threaten demons to make them do what you want to do, because they're mischievous spirits, they're lower spirits, they're sort of the scumbags of the spirit world. But so you got to sort of be a little bit more rowdy with them. Angels, all you really need is a properly drawn sigil and the invocation, and that will pretty much get the angel down to your level. So that's sort of the basics of summoning them. One of the other techniques that I've discovered is if you have like pure intentions, angels, again, because they're close to the divine presence, they want you to have a pure intention. They don't want you to be trying to summon them to kill your neighbor, or get your boss fired, or just make you tons of money. These are not good things. If that's really what you want out of life, go summon the demons, because they'll do it for you. Oh boy, will they. But demons expect something in return. That's the trick. Angels, they're not asking for anything in return. They just want you to have a pure heart and to come about it in a positive way. And you'll see what most of the angels do if you look at the old texts. Their skills and abilities are mostly healing, prosperity, protection, and punishing evildoers. Like, those are really sort of the four things that angels will mostly do to help you. At least the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. So as I said, angels definitely do not require a sacrifice. If you are in a situation where you're summoning a celestial presence and you think it's an angel and it's saying, I need you to kill somebody, or I need some blood, or I need you to give me some money, or whatever it's asking for, that's not an angel. They don't ask for a sacrifice, they don't require a sacrifice. You can come on in, don't be shy. That's not an angel, that's not what it's asking. Now, to simplify this system of evocation, I created this thing called the Angel-Evoking Tarot. So I'll just share these with you briefly, and I've got them downstairs if you want to take a look at them. These are not actually available for sale yet, so I'm not trying to hawk you anything. You don't have to buy them, sorry. This is just a prototype deck. So on one side, you've got a picture of an angel and the summoning sigil, and then a little bit of information about what the angel does. So this is sort of the basic card. Now you might look at that and say, okay, well, what's this missing? To properly evoke or summon an angel, what's missing here? Anybody? Very good, the invocation, yeah. Look at this. On the back side is the entire invocation in microprint. So we, as humans, are not really, if you squint really hard, you can probably make it out. But the angel gets it, The sigil's what's calling him, the invocation is doing all the hard work for you, and these are Solomon, the great pinnacle of Solomon. So this is actually keeping you safe. It's a sigil of protection. So you can actually do an entire invocation and get the exact angel you want simply by using these cards. And alright, so my first deck on Kickstarter was the Demon Possessed Tarot, and I was using it to summon demons. It was pretty scary stuff, and it was some pretty heavy moments in.
Why would you do that?
Well, because like I said, the demons will do what you want them to. It's just a little bit trickier to get them to. And protection was a huge thing on that deck.
Get rid of them?
Well, there's a license to depart, so I actually worked the license to depart in there. And on those cards, the sigil of protection was not for you. It was to keep the demon from getting. It was like a shield almost, not necessarily this is like armor. That was like a shield to keep the demon away. So again, I tried to take protective measures. So with this deck though, whenever I do a reading, an evocational reading, it's like lightness. You can feel lightness. The cards have even sort of got a nice light color to them. The demon cards were on, paper that was sort of like this, sort of dark. So it's got a lightness to it, and you sort of feel like, yeah, okay, I can get into this. And like I said, every single angel does nice things. They're not all, trying to kill your enemies or burn your boss alive or anything terrible like that. So, and I've got these 6 samples of these downstairs if you guys want to check them out. So let's see here. Okay, so now we'll get into some fun stuff. It's not necessarily evocation. Now I've got these two. These are, I guess I can just pass these around. These are cards on one side. It's got the Archangel Haniel. He's the angel of joy, but he's also the angel of love. So he's based around Venus. And if you want to keep this, you can. And on the back, it's just got some information about him and about the Angel-Evoking Tarot. So here, I'll pass these around. And I have more downstairs if we run out. Okay, so guardian angels. Now, again, this is where there's a lot of mythology, there's a lot of legend, and you're probably going to hear 200 different theories. I'm just going to give you what I found in 400-year-old texts. There are 3 guardian angels that are around every single person who is born. And the 3 guardian angels are the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. That's where they come from. So I needed a volunteer. You're just going to give me your birthday and your time of birth if you know it. Go ahead. You know what your time of birth is?
Yeah, I think so.
You can guess it's all right.
5:24.
Okay, so we'll say 5:24. So
PM.
just so you can see what I'm looking at here. So all the 72 angels, each one rules over a specific time of day. It's a very narrow period of time, 15 minutes or half an hour. Some are hourly angels as well, but it's a specific period of time that they rule over. And then there's also days that they rule over, and then periods of days as well. So all you really have to do to figure out who your angels are is look through this book at what time you were born, what day you were born. So I'm sorry, what time was it again?
5:25.
5:25. Okay, that's good for our purpose. All right, perfect. So Nanel is one of your angels, and the first angel rules over your soul, like not in like I rule your soul, but like your virtue, your sort of who you are as a person, your general personality and that. And so let's see, Nanel is number 53. You can flip through in the book and find 53. Oh, she's very pretty. This is God humiliating the proud. And a person born under Nanel's influence will have a melancholic demeanor but will pursue a private life, rest, and meditation. They will distinguish themselves through knowledge of the abstract sciences, which could mean a lot of different things. Would you say that describes you? Do you pursue a private life?
Well,
And meditation, you're here, so that's probably that
I
part.
didn't used to, but I do now.
Right. So that's just sort of one example. And then there's 2 other angels that will also rule over her life. What was your day of birth?
Day?
Yeah.
31st?
Month and day.
Oh, July 31st?
Okay, so July 31st. Let's see here. All right, Jahel. That's a good one. 62. Okay, so Jahel, God the highest being. Those born under Jahel will love tranquility and solitude. They will precisely fulfill their duties and will be distinguished by their modesty and virtues. So the second, they all sound like me, don't they? I mean, like her. So the second angel is going to rule over your what they call qualities of moral order, which can mean a lot of things, but really it's the things you do every day. How do you conduct yourself? What kind of person are you? And then the third angel rules over the physical aspect of you, so like your health, your vitality, and things like that. And the key is not necessarily to look up what the people born under those angels are like, but it's so if you're having a health problem, you know which angel is already looking over you. Why not just call them now? And these angels aren't necessarily specific to her, so they're unique to you in that respect. But that same angel, Jahel, is where he's dealing with her moral order. He might be dealing with your physical order or your spiritual order. So that same angel, I mean, they have almost limitless power anyways. So your 3 guardian angels are covering a lot of people.
Approximately how many of those are there?
So there's 72. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
72.
okay,
It's the 72. And actually, if you do the math on that, unfortunately, I did it. You'll find that it actually doesn't work out too good. There are like 3 or 4 days that don't have an angel assigned to them, and the author is actually accounted for that. So they say, sort of take the angel for the week. Whatever angel rules over the week you were born. If you were born on one of these 2 or 3 days, that angel covers you. So yeah, they and again, that's 500 years old. That's amazing stuff. So those are the 3 guardian angels. I don't deal with that at all in my deck, but it's something that people are sort of interested in. So I try to put that out there. And the other thing is, it's actually, if if you look up angel magic and you even look up the Solomonic tradition, the tradition of Solomon, you'll find they talk about angels ruling over certain days or ruling over certain times. And it's a mistranslation because what they tell you to do is pray to certain angels at a certain time to get a result from that angel. But it's a complete mistranslation. The reality is that's the angel that was ruling when you were born, or you were born, or you were born. And that means it's specific to you. So you don't have to wait until 2 o'clock on a Friday and pray to that one specific angel to get the result you're looking for. You can pray to them anytime or call out to them anytime. So how am I doing on time? Anybody? I think I've got 45 minutes. I'm basically done. Does anyone have any questions?